This happened on the 11th of May, 2020 in Walsall, England. Two individuals named Simon Paget and Dean Stone decided they couldn't bear the slow-moving traffic on the M6, which stretched for miles. They made the choice to race down the emergency lane in their BMW i8, unaware that a Midlands police officer was also among those caught in the congestion. What followed was an adrenaline-fueled pursuit, with Simon navigating at speeds reaching 100 miles per hour. In his attempt to evade capture, Simon maneuvered between vehicles, creating a perilous situation for everyone around him.
30 limited is a dual carriageway, traffic is light. We've just mounted a curb, so I suspect it may have some damage. And vehicle is standby A34 Walsall Road. He is contravening a keep left bollard. Can I have the impasse tactical units towards me, please? He is making several overtakes. It's standby. I've got one out on foot. It is off-road. It's one out and running. The driver's still in the vehicle. We're onto grassland. Passenger, IC1, green top, blue trousers, and vehicle is now returning to the road.
Despite his desperate attempts to escape, including a futile effort to shake the officer in a parking area, Simon ultimately resigned to his fate on a quiet residential road. It was at this point that the officer apprehended them and uncovered the true reason behind their frantic flight. Dean hastily left his backpack behind upon exiting the vehicle, which, upon inspection, was found to contain 5 kilos of potent drugs, valued at around $500,000. For their actions, including possession and fleeing from law enforcement, Dean was sentenced to 6 years, while Simon received a 7-year prison sentence. This incident took place in Ocala, Florida. On the 11th of August, 2022, a distress call was made to the police about an auto theft. The owner, who was casually visiting a friend, had left their vehicle unlocked with keys in the ignition. Seizing the opportunity, a 35-year-old man named Dale Shrewsbury jumped into the car and made a hasty getaway. When 2 officers attempted to intercept him, Dale was determined not to be caught. He initiated a high-speed chase, weaving through congested streets and quiet residential areas, before steering the stolen vehicle into the wilderness in an attempt to evade the officers.
41st, yeah, north or south. I'm gonna be here at 6. Be down Southeast 30th Court Road on a dirt road, take southbound. Still going to the wood line, now we're going eastbound away from the railroad track and the wood line.
Incredibly, Dale managed to navigate through the dense forest, leaving the pursuing police SUVs entangled among the trees while he emerged on the other side. A police canine unit was quickly on his trail. Dale didn't give up easily, resorting to erratic maneuvers like spinning donuts on lawns and speeding along narrow, unpaved roads. The situation escalated dangerously when he tore through a private property, destroying a fence in his wake.
Pulling new yard, 3000 block. Outside of the road. Alright, we need to forward to a fence. We're still southbound in somebody's backyard.
The high-speed chase eventually concluded when the officers executed a pit maneuver. It lasted for approximately 21 minutes. Dale then attempted to flee on foot, but was no match for the pursuing German Shepherd. The dog heroically subdued him, allowing for his capture. Dale faced a multitude of charges, adding to his extensive criminal history of 13 arrests in the last 16 years. Spanning 86 miles between Tulsa and Oklahoma City, the Turner Turnpike is a highway in Oklahoma, typically bustling with over 300,000 vehicles daily as residents commute between these two primary cities. However, on April 2, 2022, this bustling highway was shut down due to a dangerous situation. A man named Charles, 32-year-old, wanted for armed robbery, led law enforcement on a frantic pursuit through Oklahoma City. Demonstrating a blatant disregard for safety, he frequently shot at the officers trailing him. Amidst this chaos, State Trooper Bra Mill found himself directly behind the assailant's car, dodging bullets.
Eastbound Hill Factory. said he shots fired.
Throughout the ordeal, Trooper Miller maintained remarkable composure, even as the suspect persistently targeted him. Determined to halt the chase swiftly, he executed a well-known pit maneuver. Despite the suspect's continuous firing and visible damage to the patrol car's windshield, Trooper Miller remained stoic. Eventually, his attempt to pit the SUV succeeded, causing the vehicle to lose control.
Ooh, that was ugly. Said I've taken one round through the front windshield. He's still continuing to fire.
Unfortunately, the confrontation didn't end there. Charles continued firing. As additional officers arrived on the scene, the confrontation ended with Charles's demise during an encounter with law enforcement. In Nanyang, China, a harrowing incident captured on Dashcam unfolded on January 7, 2021. Amidst the city's routine activity, a local man's decision to drive after consuming alcohol led to a dangerous and nearly catastrophic event. The Dashcam footage paints a stark picture. The inebriated driver loses control of his vehicle, resulting in an alarming scene where his car ends up precariously along a steel wire of a telephone pole. In a stroke of luck, he manages to exit the vehicle, his staggering movements evidencing his impaired state. Concerned bystanders quickly converge at the scene. The situation escalates with the arrival of the police. Their subsequent breathalyzer test confirms the inevitable: the driver's blood alcohol concentration far exceeded the legal limit. China's stringent stance on drunk driving, especially as of 2023, ensures severe repercussions for such actions. The country's rigorous legal framework aims to deter drunk driving, underlining the gravity of the offense and its potential for causing harm. On May 24, 2023, the usually peaceful streets of Cobb County, Georgia, became the stage for a high-stakes pursuit. A man, already notorious in the local law enforcement community for his alleged involvement in an armed robbery, decided to test his luck against the police. After commandeering a pickup truck, he sought to flee the state, but his plan was quickly thwarted as the police began their pursuit. He sped down I-75, weaving dangerously between cars. The chase intensified when he encountered congested traffic, yet he continued, maneuvering the stolen vehicle down the shoulder at speeds exceeding 80 miles per hour. His desperate attempt to escape the law was marked by a series of increasingly reckless decisions. The defining moment came as he approached an exit ramp. One of the pursuing officers saw an opportunity to end the chase before any more harm could be done. The officer executed a pit maneuver.
For heavy traffic on the right shoulder, 80 miles an hour. Get off of Windy Hill.
Very preferred place to be in if it's sleeping.
The maneuver was described by a witnessing officer as perfectly executed. It brought the pickup truck to an abrupt halt, but the suspect wasn't ready to surrender. As officers surrounded the vehicle to prevent any further attempt to flee, the man discarded a firearm and brandished a knife, escalating the standoff. Tosca Swansler, a 33-year-old, found herself under arrest in Lufkin, Texas, for theft. However, she wasn't ready to give up without a fight. While seated in the back of a police SUV, handcuffed, Tosca managed to slip free. As the officers were examining her belongings, she seized the moment to scramble into the driver's seat and started frenetic pursuit across Angelina County. The entire incident was captured on several dash cams, including the one in the vehicle Tosca commandeered.
Dang! Hey! God!
Throughout the chase, Tosca pushed the vehicle to its limits, reaching speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour and narrowly missing several patrol cars in near head-on collisions. The high-speed escapade came to a halt when Tosca was halted by a pit maneuver, causing her to veer off the road. The chase lasted for 23 minutes. As a result of her audacious attempt to escape and her previous criminal activities, Tosca received a 45-year sentence. 29th of August, 2022, a dramatic event unfolded in the relatively quiet city of Glendale, Wisconsin. At around 3 p.m., Glendale Police Department received a distressing call about a stolen white Volkswagen, reportedly taken by 4 individuals during a brazen home invasion. The stolen vehicle was spotted careening through the streets of Glendale. Officers swiftly responded, initiating a relentless pursuit as the driver executed dangerous maneuvers in a desperate attempt to evade capture. At one juncture, the chase veered into a local park, where the vehicle wildly tore through the grass, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. As the chase progressed, the urgency to bring the situation under control intensified.
Hit a pole. We're going to be coming out onto Hampton. Squads coming out onto Hampton.
768 is still northbound. Still northbound. We're going to come out onto Hampton. 768 is losing a lot of it. Still southbound.
That pole.
768.
A precise and tactical maneuver known as the pursuit intervention technique was employed by the lead police officer. With minimal force, the officer nudged the rear of the stolen vehicle, causing it to spin out and lose control. The driver, in a frantic attempt to regain stability, overcorrected, leading to a catastrophic collision with a telephone pole. Inside the wrecked Volkswagen, authorities apprehended 4 suspects, a 35-year-old woman, an 18-year-old woman, and 2 teenage boys. Their identities and roles in the incident were not fully disclosed, but the distressing cries of "those are my kids" from one of the women suggest a familial connection, possibly indicating that the 35-year-old was the mother driving with her teenage sons. Michael Warning, a 47-year-old military veteran, decided to steal a 6-ton Humvee from a Fort Gordon 4th of July display in South Carolina. His audacious theft didn't take him far, only about 15 miles, before the police caught sight of him. Spotting a military vehicle cruising down the highway isn't a common occurrence, making Michael easy to track down. The chase lasted for 12 minutes and spanned 20 miles and almost resulted in a fatal incident for one of the officers. His reckless actions led to multiple charges, including one for endangering a police officer, likely due to his near collision with a cop car. On the 16th of November 2012, an officer found himself in the midst of traffic when suddenly a motorcyclist zipped by him at an alarming speed. Reacting quickly, the officer activated his siren and pursued the biker, who seemed to be accelerating at an incredible rate, widening the gap between them. It took a considerable amount of time for the officer to finally close in, initiating the pursuit. As the officer emerged from a tunnel, a burst of sunlight momentarily disoriented him, causing him to lose sight of the motorcyclist. The situation escalated as the traffic density increased, making the high-speed chase even more perilous. Weaving between cars, the officer was fortunate to avoid any missteps that could have led to a severe collision. Persistence paid off when the officer managed to catch up to the motorcyclist in another tunnel. Eventually, the biker was cornered and apprehended by the police, ending the risky chase. In late June 2022, Hardwick, Vermont, a town of under 2,000, became the center of a bizarre and dangerous confrontation. Vermont State Police sought to arrest 24-year-old Brandon Tallman for burglary at his parents' home. The situation escalated when Brandon's mother tried to obstruct the arrest and his father, Wayne, intervened with an excavator. Wayne swung the bucket at officers, who narrowly avoided injury. This extraordinary incident led to worldwide attention and serious charges against Wayne, including 3 felony counts. He pleaded guilty, receiving a 90-day jail sentence but faced calls for harsher punishment due to the peril he created. The case highlighted the unexpected and perilous situations law enforcement officers encounter and sparked discussions on appropriate penalties for endangering public officials. On March 10, in the busy streets of the UK, drivers must be vigilant against not just the usual hazards of the road, but also against the growing threat of crash-for-cash scams. These scams, which cost UK insurers an estimated £340 million annually, involve fraudsters deliberately causing accidents to profit from fraudulent insurance claims. The video from the A10 near London exemplifies this peril. The dashcam captures a car ahead abruptly stopping at a roundabout, causing a rear-end collision.
Because it was true of almost every referendum there's ever been anywhere, was that people who went all the way through the referendum were still basically undecided. If they voted, would end up on balance
for the status quo,
yes. Because it's the less risky option. That's happened almost everywhere, and that didn't happen either.
Because it didn't feel like the status quo, oddly, did it? It felt. I mean, that was one of the great victories of the snake oil salesman, is that it felt like a kind of a temporary aberration by the time they finished their administrations, rather than actually.
What seems like an ordinary accident is, in fact, a calculated move by scammers. These criminals often disable their brake lights or brake suddenly for no reason, targeting unsuspecting drivers behind them. Victims of such scams are frequently chosen for their perceived vulnerability, such as elderly drivers or young mothers with children. The fraudsters' calm demeanor post-accident, their readiness with insurance details, and inconsistencies between their injuries and the impact's force are telltale signs of a scam. This case on the A10, with the dashcam evidence, led to the fraudsters' arrest and the rejection of their inflated £28,000 insurance claim. This incident underlines the importance of being alert to erratic driving patterns and maintaining safe distances, especially in urban areas where such scams are more prevalent. On January 14, 2019, truck driver Chad Mock witnessed an astonishing incident in downtown Mankato, Minnesota. A 2-year-old child, strapped in a car seat, fell out of a moving vehicle, captured by Mock's dashcam. The toddler, who miraculously remained unharmed and calm, had fallen from a 2004 Honda Civic driven by her mother, Muna Hassan. Investigations revealed that the child's car seat was not properly tethered to the vehicle. This oversight, combined with an unbuckled chest clip and a door that unexpectedly opened, led to the child's fall. Hassan, who was only holding a learner's permit and thus should not have been driving without supervision, faced charges including child endangerment and failing to fasten a child's restraint. In 2021, Hassan pled guilty to careless driving and received a sentence of 1 year of probation and mandatory parenting and child restraint classes, emphasizing the importance of proper child safety in vehicles. On February 18, 2018, a perilous situation unfolded on the streets of Columbus, Ohio. The Columbus Police Department, specifically officers from the 7th Precinct, received an alarming report at around dusk. A white Ford Taurus was observed driving perilously against the flow of traffic on I-670, situation fraught with the potential for tragedy. Officers Jeff Ward and Josh Buck, vigilant and quick to act, were patrolling eastbound when they spotted the rogue vehicle heading directly toward them. With practiced precision, they activated their emergency lights and executed a swift U-turn, setting the stage for a critical intervention. Initially, it appeared the driver might heed the officer's presence and pull over. However, in a sudden and defiant act, the individual accelerated, plunging deeper into danger and prompting a high-stakes pursuit.
Got it.
These situations are often exacerbated by factors like distraction or, as is tragically common, intoxication. The pursuit reached its climax when the officers skillfully performed a pit maneuver. This precise action brought the vehicle to a halt, allowing the officers to take 26-year-old Roger Ford Jr. into custody. Subsequent investigations revealed that Roger was heavily intoxicated. 2016, a perilous incident occurred in Brook Park, Ohio. Richard Boger, 47, found himself in a life-threatening situation when the AT&T van he was driving became ensnared on Norfolk Southern Railroad tracks after maneuvering around a truck at Eastland Road and Route 237. With crossing gates down and warning lights activated, Boger's van was immobilized with its front wheel lodged in the rail. Officer Harold Duncan, witnessing the dire predicament, bravely intervened. He rushed onto the tracks, leading Boger to safety merely 20 seconds before a train collided with the van. Boger, fortunate to escape unharmed due to Duncan's quick actions, was cited for a crossing lights violation, highlighting the critical importance of adhering to railroad safety regulations. On August 16, 2023, a harrowing incident occurred in Buenos Aires, Argentina's bustling capital. A double-length bus faced a dire situation. While navigating congested traffic, an electrical malfunction triggered a fire on board, necessitating an immediate evacuation of all passengers. Security camera footage caught the dramatic moment. The bus, abruptly stopping amidst the flow of traffic, quickly became engulfed in flames. Panic ensued as over 100 passengers scrambled to safety, some climbing a nearby hill, others darting along the street. Meanwhile, the fire intensified, spreading a fiery trail of oil across the highway and forcing other vehicles to navigate through the burgeoning inferno. The bus ultimately turned into a huge fireball, a towering blaze that halted all traffic and produced a dense cloud of black smoke, even scorching parts of the adjacent hillside. Fortunately, thanks to the quick actions of passengers and bystanders, all were evacuated safely with no injuries reported. In Manhattan, on July 9, 2015, an unsuspecting pedestrian became the victim of a cell phone theft, a crime that's unfortunately all too common in busy urban areas. A cab driver, ironically advising his passenger on scam avoidance, witnessed the theft. The dashcam captured a thief on a bike swiftly snatching the phone from the pedestrian and disappearing into the cityscape. Despite a fellow cyclist's attempt to pursue the thief, and the victim's own efforts to chase on foot, the thief was long gone, vanishing into the Manhattan traffic. This incident highlights a rising issue in major cities where crowded streets create an environment ripe for opportunistic crimes. Cell phone thefts have become a significant concern globally, especially in urban areas. In the US, more than 1 million smartphones are stolen each year, according to the Federal Communications Commission, FCC. On the night of June 10, 2023, Mesa, Arizona, became the proving ground for a groundbreaking police technology known as the grappler. This advanced pursuit gadget, designed to safely and efficiently end high-speed chases, was put to the test when a report of street racers dangerously weaving through traffic came in, with one driver reportedly hitting a pedestrian before fleeing. The police, equipped with the grappler, quickly located and pursued the suspect's vehicle.
Good grapple. Just south of the Phoenix on Gilbert.
The device, a robust net system attached to the front of a police cruiser, was deployed with precision. It entangles itself around the suspect's rear tire, linking the two vehicles and allowing the officer to forcefully halt the suspect by braking. The result was immediate and effective, leading to the detention and citation of the 17-year-old driver and passenger for street racing. The incident not only showcased the grappler's functionality but also highlighted its potential to transform high-speed pursuits, making them safer for officers, suspects, and the community. Located in the heart of Angelina County, Texas, the quaint and relatively small city of Lufkin serves as a peaceful abode for approximately 35,000 residents. An emergency call was placed in the early hours of June 6, 2019, reporting a possible home invasion. It instantly mobilized the entire department and sent ripples of concern through the community. The incident unfolded at around 6 a.m., a time when the city was just beginning to stir from its nightly slumber. The terrified homeowner, upon hearing the jarring sound of their window shattering, made a split-second decision to seek refuge in a closet. From this precarious hideout, they dialed 911. The homeowner remained in this state of heightened fear until the police arrived on the scene, ready to confront the situation head-on.
Police, let me see your hand. That's a deer. It's a deer. It's a deer. It's a deer. Stand down. Go, go, go. Go, go, come on, come on. No. Get the shield in here. Go, come on. There it is. It's closed. Open the door. Open the door. Oh, golly.
Imagine the intense moment when the responding officer notices the broken window and discerns sounds of movement from within the residence. A baffling twist that soon unravels into a rather unexpected discovery. Contrary to the anticipated dangerous criminal, the culprit behind this chaos was none other than a disoriented deer, which surprisingly, might have been the best possible outcome under such alarming circumstances. The official police report later confirmed that, fortunately, both the deer and the inhabitants of the house emerged from this unusual event unscathed. However, the homeowner was left to confront a considerable aftermath. The house was a scene of disarray, with numerous breakable items sent crashing to the floor by the frantic movements of the deer. In Forsyth County, Georgia, teenagers Ryan Brewer and Justin Smith, both 19, learned a harsh lesson about the gravity of reckless driving in mid-May 2023. After a Forsyth County deputy clocked their white BMW speeding at 87 miles per hour in a 45 miles per hour zone, Ryan, instead of complying, decided to escalate the situation by accelerating, initiating a perilous chase reaching up to 140 miles per hour. Such high-speed pursuits are incredibly dangerous, posing a significant risk to the driver, passengers, other road users, and law enforcement. The pursuit ended when the deputy executed a precision immobilization technique, causing the driver to lose control and stop. When the teens were finally stopped, the seriousness of their situation became evident. The request to call his mother and the realization that youth was no excuse for endangering lives marked a turning point for Ryan. Finding alcohol in the car compounded their legal troubles, leading to charges of reckless driving and underage alcohol possession. This incident is a stark reminder of the severe implications of such reckless behavior. Arkansas state troopers have been pursuing a driver in a black Dodge Hellcat, notorious for eluding capture by going dark and disappearing into the night. For years, troopers have been on the tail of this elusive driver who, by September of 2022, had successfully escaped capture 7 times. During pursuits, he employs a perilous tactic, switching off all his lights and merging into the darkness. His vehicle, a deep black Hellcat, essentially becomes invisible against the night sky. Observe how swiftly he disappears from sight. The car is like a phantom. It's baffling how the pursuing officer managed to track him for as long as he did. Despite the officer's efforts, the Hellcat slips away, especially after making a sharp left where it further accelerates into the shadows. This footage recorded in October 2019, suggesting that this driver has been getting away from the police for well over 4 years. Reports indicate the Hellcat sports temporary plates, making it even more difficult for authorities to identify the driver. On April 21, 2014, a tense pursuit erupted on the bustling streets of downtown Los Angeles. A suspect, wanted for narcotics-related offenses, led the LAPD in a high-speed chase that would test the limits of public safety and police strategy. Experienced officers knew the stakes were high. Every second the suspect remained on the run in such a populated area increased the risk to innocent bystanders. As the suspect weaved through the streets, the LAPD coordinated a response to bring the chase to a safe end. Helicopter footage captured the moment as the LAPD attempted a pit maneuver. The maneuver didn't go entirely as planned. Although the pit was successful in spinning the suspect's vehicle, the driver managed to regain control. The suspect's car, hitting a street sign and curb, might have inadvertently helped the driver maintain some control and continue the chase. The pursuit eventually came to a head in Downey, a smaller city south of downtown LA, where the suspect, with no way out, pulled into a cul-de-sac. Realizing the gravity of the situation, the driver refused to exit the vehicle, leading to a prolonged standoff with the police. Dozens of officers, trained for such critical incidents, worked to resolve the situation safely. This happened in Pompton Lakes, New Jersey. On the 14th of January 2023, the local police and fire brigade were alerted to a potential emergency as smoke was seen emanating from a residence located on Ramapo Avenue. In response, 6 firefighters ventured into the building to locate the origin of the smoke, entering via the basement. Suddenly, the entire house exploded violently. Remarkably, despite the severe blast that tore through the house, no one sustained serious injuries. The firefighters, who were inside at the moment of the explosion, managed to survive thanks to their protective gear and a hasty retreat through the shattered staircase. Meanwhile, the police officers who were stationed outside were caught off guard as the building suddenly burst into flames, transforming into a raging inferno. Initially, they had presumed the incident to be a minor one due to the absence of visible flames upon their arrival. The exact cause of the explosion remains a mystery, but speculation suggests a gas leak might have been the culprit. This incident took place in Perth Amboy, New Jersey. This officer found himself at the center of a critical and life-saving incident on July 25, 2018, an event that would underscore the importance of being in the right place at the right time. On that fateful summer day, Officer Carl Savoy, a newcomer to the police force with just 7 months under his belt, was dispatched to the local train tracks to perform a routine wellness check. Upon his arrival, an individual at the station urgently directed his attention to a distressing sight, a man lying motionless on the railway tracks. As Officer Savoy approached, his heart plummeted. There, in the distance, a train was rapidly approaching, and the person, oblivious to the imminent danger, continued to slumber peacefully on the rails.
Stop the train! Stop the train! Bloody move! 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 Oh. Sergeant, be advised. Train stopped right before he moves. Sit down. Are you okay?
Where you come from?
Look.
I hate you.
Officer Savoy reacted with exceptional speed and determination. He embarked on a desperate 200-yard sprint towards the endangered individual, his voice echoing loudly as he attempted to alert the oncoming train and rouse the sleeping man. In a stroke of sheer luck and timing, the man stirred from his slumber, and the train managed to come to a halt just in time. On April 21, 2023, a routine day in Brevard County, Florida, was disrupted by a high-octane drama when 21-year-old Adam Crosby and his passenger, 30-year-old Samantha Simpson, were involved in a traffic stop that escalated into a full-blown chase. The duo, suspected of being part of a large-scale methamphetamine trafficking ring, decided to make a desperate attempt to escape when Florida Highway Patrol attempted to pull them over, setting the stage for a dangerous pursuit down the bustling corridors of I-95. The high-speed chase saw Crosby performing risky maneuvers, weaving in and out of traffic and placing countless lives in jeopardy. The situation reached a critical point when the suspect vehicle, refusing to yield, forced the officers to consider a tactical intervention. The troopers executed a pit maneuver in an attempt to safely bring the vehicle to a stop. Following the successful pit maneuver, Crosby and Simpson were apprehended. Reports indicate that Crosby was arrested on several drug possession and traffic violation charges, highlighting the serious nature of the allegations against him. On May 6, 2016, a quiet community in Greenfield, Wisconsin, was shaken by an alarming event. 4 teenagers, emboldened and reckless, stole an SUV from a local dealership and catapulted themselves into a perilous situation. As they sped down a busy main road at speeds reaching 100 miles per hour, the seriousness of their actions quickly became apparent. When initially pulled over by an attentive officer, the teens had a chance to comply. Instead, they chose to flee, setting off a dangerous pursuit. Weaving in and out of traffic, ignoring red lights, and exhibiting a complete disregard for public safety, they transformed the streets into a scene of chaos and peril. The situation escalated dramatically when one of the teens fired a gun from the moving vehicle. The officer trailing them faced a daunting decision. Performing a pit maneuver at such high speeds could be as dangerous as it was decisive. Yet, allowing the SUV to continue its rampage posed a clear and present danger to everyone in its path. The stolen SUV skidded across the median, crashed into a concrete pole, and was rendered inoperable. Miraculously, the teenagers survived the crash and fled on foot. Notably, one of them wore a GPS ankle bracelet from a previous carjacking incident. The aftermath sparked a debate on the use of high-speed pit maneuvers, especially at such dangerous velocities. Police Chief Brad Wentland stood behind his officer's decision, citing the imperative to prevent further harm. In the quaint town of Limestone, Maine, an unbelievable incident happened on June 8, 2017. On this fateful day, a distressing call was made, alerting the local police and fire department of a fire that had erupted in a nearby wooded area. As the blaze grew in intensity and ferocity, it became apparent that this was no ordinary fire. The flames were rapidly advancing towards a collection of propane tanks. The potential for a catastrophic explosion loomed large, heightening the urgency for the firefighters to contain and extinguish the fire before it could reach the volatile tanks.
Give her.
Firefighters valiantly endeavored to halt the fire's relentless march towards the propane tanks, engaging in a perilous battle against the relentless force of nature. Despite their best efforts, the situation escalated perilously. In Raleigh, North Carolina, a dramatic event unfolded on August 14, 2013, when State Trooper A.G. Knight experienced a near miss during a routine traffic stop on US 64. As he interacted with a driver, two semi-trucks nearly caused a severe accident.
Raleigh, just had a 1050 out here on 64, just west of 96.
Nestled in the northwesternmost region of the Sunshine State, Escambia County holds the distinction of being the oldest county in Florida. In mid-June of 2023, this area faced an unforeseen natural calamity. The region was suddenly besieged by severe rainstorms, unleashing torrential downpours that led to unprecedented flash floods throughout the county. In response to this crisis, the brave deputies of the Escambia Sheriff's Department were promptly mobilized to aid residents grappling with the sudden deluge. Amidst the chaos, Deputy Will Hollingsworth was diligently patrolling the waterlogged streets, offering assistance to motorists who found themselves trapped by the rapidly rising floodwaters. It was during this critical mission that Deputy Hollingsworth encountered a dire situation. A man, later identified as David Boss, was navigating his way home through the waist-deep waters after completing his workday. Unexpectedly, he vanished beneath the murky water. Reacting instinctively, Deputy Hollingsworth plunged into the treacherous waters to rescue the man.
Oh man, I got you! Hey buddy, I got you! Oh Jesus! Yeah! Oh Jesus, buddy! Hey! David! Hey, David! David! Can you believe what just happened to us? You okay, buddy? Can you believe what happened to us? Oh, just breathe! Just breathe, buddy! Oh my God! Oh, thank you, Jesus! Oh, God! Oh, Jesus, thank you. I'm gonna die. Oh, you died too, buddy. Suck me in. Oh, my God. Did you go through that? I did. I never held my breath like that in my life. I mean it. Oh, God, come here.
Unbeknownst to both, it was a storm drain that had transformed into a perilous trap due to the overwhelming flood. Operating more like a powerful vacuum, the storm drain ensnared David Boss and nearly claimed Deputy Hollingsworth as well. For an agonizing 30 seconds, both individuals were submerged and dragged beneath Highway 98. During this terrifying journey, they were pulled through approximately 100 feet of water. Miraculously, they emerged on the other side, gasping for the sweet relief of air. Wervik, a near-tragic incident involving a teenage cyclist at a railroad crossing highlights the dangers of impatience and disregard for safety signals. The encounter occurred at a crossing marked with cross arms and flashing lights, universal indicators of an approaching train. Most people would heed these warnings and stop, but this teenager chose to risk it all. Ignoring the safety barriers and the presence of a waiting car, the teenager darted across the tracks, narrowly escaping a high-speed train. The train clipped the rear wheel of his bike, sending it spinning off-screen. Miraculously, he sustained only a minor head injury and was discharged from the hospital the same day. This incident underscores a concerning trend. According to statistics, about 61% of all fatal train vehicle collisions occur at crossings with active warning devices like gates and lights. In the United States alone, there were more than 1,600 collisions between vehicles and trains in 2021, resulting in 133 deaths and 644 injuries. These figures highlight that even with safety measures in place, drivers and pedestrians often ignore warnings, leading to preventable tragedies. Adams County, a routine traffic situation nearly turned tragic due to a driver's failure to adhere to move-over laws. This incident, captured on Dashcam, underscores the critical importance of these laws designed to protect roadside workers and emergency responders. The Dashcam footage captures the moment when a vehicle, failing to follow the move-over law, comes dangerously close to a police officer conducting a roadside stop.
Okay, so don't take this as, Gee, oh my God! I gotta go after him.
While the video ends before the officer reaches the truck, it's reported that he eventually caught up with the driver and issued a citation. Thankfully, the officer was unharmed but understandably shaken by the near miss. Move-over laws, now enacted in all 50 states, mandate that drivers must either change lanes or slow down when passing stationary emergency vehicles. These laws are not just regulatory measures but life-saving ones. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, every year about 23 roadside workers and first responders are involved in fatal crashes along roads, and hundreds more suffer injuries while attending to traffic incidents. In September 2015, an unusual incident occurred on Harbor Boulevard in La Habra, California, involving a 20